Few players have sparked as much pride as Ardie Savea in 2025. Leading Moana Pasifika to their best season yet, Savea didn't just collect personal stats, he carried a whole region's hopes. His power on the field, with 5 tries, 350-plus post-contact meters, and more than 100 tackles, drove his team into the Super Rugby Pacific playoffs for the first time. Winning the Player of the Year award meant more than personal glory. It crowned Savea's influence and the rise of Moana Pasifika as a top-tier side. This win sent a message. Pacific Rugby's future is brighter than ever, and Savea stands at its heart. Ardie Savea's 2025 season, a year of domination. After clinching the 2025 Player of the Year award, Ardie Savea didn't rest on his reputation. He lifted his new team to heights they had only dreamed of. Savea's first campaign with Moana Pasifika defined a new standard for loose forwards and captains alike. His unique blend of raw power, creative play, and relentless spirit turned every fixture into a showcase of what's possible when talent meets trust and culture. Let's look closer at why his season will be remembered for years. Breaking down the stats, what these numbers mean for a loose forward. Savea's 2025 stat line jumps off the page, but the meaning goes deeper than numbers. Scoring 5 tries as a loose forward is rare air. Typically, these are the unsung heroes grinding for meters, not crossing the chalk. Add in over 350 post-contact meters, and the image is clear. Savea isn't just making runs, he's breaking tackles and refusing to quit. His 110-plus tackles in just 10 games put him among the best defenders in Super Rugby Pacific, while his 15 turnovers won firmly established him as the disruptor every team fears at the breakdown. When compared to other contenders like Tom Hooper and Damian McKenzie, Tom Hooper, solid on defense, but didn't match Savea's running game or try scoring. Damian McKenzie, sparkling in attack, but couldn't rival Savea's two-way impact. Savea's numbers tell the story of someone who does it all. In key games, especially against the Blues, he proved his ability to influence every aspect of play. During the historic Round 14 matchup, Savea didn't just pile up tackles or meters. He secured a match-sealing turnover on his own try line, put boot to ball with a gutsy clearance kick, underlining his rugby IQ, delivered surging carries, dragging defenders and gaining ground where nothing was on. His style this season brought back memories of his junior rugby days, a fearless willingness to play what's in front of him, including slick offloads and even well-timed kicks. Coaches and fans called his performance out of this world and likened him to a fully maxed-out video game character. Where others saw chaos, Savea saw opportunity, and he took it. How Savea led Moana Pasifika to the finals. Moana Pasifika had long been written off as plucky but mid-table. In 2024, they finished 4-10, and the idea of playoffs felt out of reach. Enter Ardie Savea, and everything changed. Leadership and progress. Savea did more than set an example. He set the standard. His on-field presence inspired teammates to believe a playoff run wasn't just a dream. Practices picked up in intensity, and Moana's games began to follow a new script. Never outworked, always believing. Contrast that with past years. Before Savea struggled to close out games, lacked a consistent spark, often faded in the final quarter. With Savea, finished stronger, made repeat comebacks, played with pride for every minute. He demanded more effort, but returned the favor by giving everything each week. His attitude lifted veterans and gave younger players real confidence. Savea's influence stretched beyond the scoreboard. He redefined what Moana Pasifika could expect from themselves. On-field presence. Every team needs an anchor. Savea became Moana's. Across tight contests, his ability to produce big plays at crucial moments swung results. The turnover and carries against the Blues are now legendary within the squad. His big hits, vocal leadership, and composure under pressure bled into every teammate. Influence on team culture. Moana Pasifika's identity had always leaned on Pacific pride, family, faith, and togetherness. Savea didn't just fit into this, he amplified it. He led rituals before games, reinforcing unity and purpose, fostered an environment where younger Pacific players felt seen and valued, celebrated the team's heritage with every win, turning each game into a community event. Off the field, fans saw a captain who understood the weight of his platform. Players spoke of how Savea changed the belief in the room. Suddenly, making the finals didn't seem impossible. It was expected. The result: from mid-table in 2024 to clinching their first-ever finals spot in 2025, Moana Pasifika's leap is the story of the season. Savea stands at the center, a leader who combines stats, heart, and culture to drag a club into rugby's top tier. The numbers show his power, but the belief he built is what has truly defined his legacy this year. What the award means: recognition and influence. Winning the 2025 Super Rugby Pacific Player of the Year award isn't just a feather in Ardie Savea's cap. It's proof of respect earned on rugby's hardest fields. This honor, brand new to Super Rugby Pacific, is different from past trophies. It isn't given by a faceless committee or based on public polls. It's peer-voted, driven by the eyes that see every inch of the grind, fellow players and coaches. For Savea to take home the title in its first year sends a powerful message across Pacific rugby and beyond. Peer recognition and the value of the award. The 2025 Player of the Year award stands out for one simple reason: it comes straight from those who compete against you and plan to stop you. After every Super Rugby Pacific match, each team's captain and head coach hand-pick the 3 best opposing players. They assign 3, 2, and 1 votes, rewarding those who stand out when it matters most. These votes are tallied and shown to the public each week, keeping players honest and fans engaged. Why does this matter so much? Real feedback. There is no hiding. Players know who brings it week in and week out. Getting their vote is a real compliment. Respect from rivals. When your toughest opponents tip their caps, it hits different. They know what it takes. Consistency rewarded. Someone can have a flash-in-the-pan game and get press buzz, but it's the week-to-week grind that wins peer votes. Leadership and teamwork. Coaches especially rate the intangibles: work rate, heart, support play, traits only insiders truly see. For Savea, being crowned top by this system isn't just recognition of skill. It's a nod to how he plays the game: hard, honest, and for his team. Captains and coaches notice when a player lifts everyone around him. That's what sets Savea apart. Earning 42 votes and clinching the award 2 weeks early speaks to both his dominance and how opponents view him, as the heartbeat of Moana Pasifika and the standard for loose forwards. This inaugural peer-voted award also sets a new bar for rugby as a whole. For years, top honors were mostly handed out by national unions or media panels. Now, with this new format, the voices that matter most, the athletes in the arena, have their say. That kind of respect means the world to a player like Savea, and it's raising the honor's value right from year one. Fantasy rugby fame and broad industry respect. Numbers don't lie, and in 2025, Savea topped not just the votes, but almost every stat that matters, especially in the world of fantasy rugby. For 6 straight weeks, he led all loose forwards in fantasy points, putting him ahead of fan favorites from powerhouse teams like the Crusaders and Chiefs. What does this fantasy dominance say about him? Reliability. Fans and fantasy GMs only pick players they can count on. Savea delivered big numbers in tackles, meters carried, and turnovers. Consistency. Scoring over 350 post-contact meters is rare for any forward. In fantasy terms, this means bonus points almost every game. Match-winning moments. Try scoring loose forwards are gold in fantasy leagues. Savea found the try line 5 times and racked up line breaks at crucial moments. Durability. He barely missed a snap all season. Available, fit, and firing week after week. In fantasy drafts and weekly selections, Savea's name quickly became a must-have. Fans who watched closely saw the same thing the coaches did, a player whose work rate doesn't dip and who finds new ways to win points. His star status in fantasy leagues crossed over into real-world industry respect. Top analysts, ex-players, and commentators talked up his leadership and impact, making him the focus of highlight reels and discussion panels all season. Highlights from Savea's fantasy rugby season. Highest scoring loose forward for 6 consecutive weeks. Led all players in tackle points per league scoring. Top 3 in line breaks and defenders beaten. Never scored below 50 fantasy points in any full game. This level of reliability is rare, even among superstars. It tells fans, coaches, and executives alike that Savea is the kind of leader they can build a club around. This recognition reaches past fans and fantasy managers. It's echoed by sponsors, rival coaches, and even potential signings who want to play alongside someone of his stature. Ardie Savea's 2025 award is about more than stats on a page. It's about lasting respect, earned under the lights and in the trenches, from every corner of the rugby world. The broader impact on Pacific rugby. Ardie Savea's arrival at Moana Pasifika was more than a headline. It shook the foundation of Super Rugby Pacific and sent ripples across Oceania. For decades, Pacific players had fought for recognition. Savea's move stood as proof that leadership and talent from these islands belong in the spotlight. His success has lifted more than just his team. He's helped elevate a whole region's pride and hope. Why his move mattered. Ardie Savea's decision to join Moana Pasifika made a bold statement. Here was an All Blacks superstar choosing a side built to represent Pacific Island talent, a team seen by many as outsiders when they first entered the league. What did this mean for the team? Belief and ambition. Savea brought instant credibility. His presence turned Moana Pasifika from hopefuls into true contenders. Players fed off his energy, pushing harder in every session and game. Culture at the core. Savea didn't just play for points. He led rituals, honored traditions, and made sure the team kept its Pacific identity front and center, on and off the field. A rising tide for Pacific rugby. With every win, the belief grew that Pacific rugby wasn't just about producing great individual players for other teams. It showed a Pacific team can compete at the very highest level. No more waiting for a rare call-up. No more proving their worth one contract at a time. Why was this monumental for Pacific fans? Pride restored. Families packed the stands, waving Samoan, Tongan, and Fijian flags. The noise at home games became a rallying cry for an entire community, not just a club. Greater representation. Fans saw themselves in the starting lineup. For many, it was the first time their heritage was reflected, celebrated, and cheered on a major rugby stage. A shared victory. Every sturdy tackle, every line break, felt like a win for all Pacific peoples. Savea's choice inspired others to support and believe in a team that wears their culture proudly. How did this shift representation in Super Rugby Pacific? Rewriting the script. Savea's move showed young Pacific players that captaining a professional team wasn't a pipe dream. It could be the next step. His leadership helped challenge outdated views and drove home that Pacific athletes can aspire to any role, from coach to captain. Breaking barriers. Savea wasn't a token star. He was central to the team's on-field plan and off-field identity. His impact proved that high-level teams can and should trust in Pacific leadership and style, not just skill. Raising the bar for future generations. Ardie Savea didn't just play rugby. He set a new standard for what's possible. His journey from All Black to Moana Pasifika skipper has become an open door, not just a headline. Savea's story is turning into a blueprint for Pacific youth. Here's how. Bigger dreams, closer to home. Young players see they don't have to leave their culture behind for a shot at success. Savea's journey proves you can be true to your roots and still reach the highest level. Role model in real time. Savea's post-game haka with fans, his moments with kids in the community, and honest interviews about culture and pressure bring him close to the people he inspires. He's not just a figure on TV. He's a leader kids grow up watching and even meeting at local events. More pathways. Schools and clubs across the Pacific are now forming Moana Pasifika feeder teams. Local academies report more sign-ups, and there's a new sense of possibility for players who once felt left out. Scouts are looking for the next Savea. Not just raw power, but heart, humility, and brains. What does the support look like? Record crowds. Moana Pasifika games in Auckland and beyond routinely sell out, and the stands pulse with Pacific pride, from banners to booming chants. Rising social media following. Pacific players, teams, and Moana Pasifika itself have seen their profiles explode online as fans worldwide tune in for highlights, behind-the-scenes looks, and culture-packed content. Sponsorships and global interest. Major brands are investing in Pacific talent, while clubs and unions overseas now see the Pacific as a key rugby market. Young players are getting noticed earlier, with new scholarships and contracts that didn't exist a few years ago. Examples from this season. After Savea's signing, participation in rugby clinics across Samoa and Tonga surged, with young kids lining up to wear Moana colors. Former All Black Michael Jones described Savea as changing the course of rugby history, sending a clear message to the next wave of talent. Moana Pasifika and Pacific youth teams are now regular features on local news and school sports days, with growing partnerships between Super Rugby and grassroots clubs. Ardie Savea's award was only one chapter. His move, and the way he lives out his Pacific values, has stirred something bigger, a generational shift in attitude, access, and ambition for Pacific rugby. This new energy may well be his greatest legacy for the game and the communities he represents. Ardie Savea's 2025 season redefined what leadership and pride look like in Pacific rugby. By claiming the Player of the Year award and driving Moana Pasifika into the playoffs, Savea did more than elevate a team. He inspired a region to see new possibilities. His power on the field and his honesty off it have opened doors for young Pacific players and given fans something real to celebrate. His historic season now stands as a marker for what can happen when homegrown talent is trusted to lead. Pacific flags fill stadiums, kids want to wear Moana colors, and the sport itself feels new again. This is more than an individual achievement. It's a turning point. Proof that Pacific rugby belongs at the very center of the world stage. Thank you for watching and sharing in this story. What does Savea's rise mean to you and your community? Stay tuned for more stories about the players and moments shaping rugby's future.